Story 1. Wow. This hit me really hard. My daughter attempted suicide on December 18th, 2018. It literally changed everything. The thought of having to live without her is unfathomable. Every single day since then has been beautiful, a gift. Even the bad days, and there have been quite a few, have been beautiful. Story 2. 3.5 months ago, I loaded some camping gear onto the back of my bicycle and left my home in Wisconsin with the vague goal of getting to Seattle and then heading down the Pacific coast. 104 days and 4,000 miles later, I have seen some absolutely beautiful parts of the country. I have learned a great deal about myself and grown as a person, and most importantly, I have seen, again and again, the overwhelming kindness of the world we live in. For some reason, traveling by bicycle brings out the best in everyone I meet. From the unending generosity of people who open their homes to me, providing me a shower and a bed, food, and their wonderful company over dinner, to drivers who saw me stopped on the side of desolate Wyoming roads and pulled up to offer an extra water bottle when I was miles from a gas station. Everybody wants to be a positive part of my story. In this day and age, we seem to focus too much on the hate in the world. Thankfully, the hateful among us are a vocal minority. I deeply believe that the world we share is a kind one and that we all want the best for each other. That, to me, is far more beautiful than the mountains of Montana or a sunset over the Pacific Ocean. Are you okay? By the way, the title is concerningly specific, mentioning suicide in particular rather than the more general term dying. Story 3. My graduation and seeing my mother proud of me. Thank you, kind strangers, for my very first awards. I must tell my mother about this. Haha. Story 4. This has been a challenging year, but not in a sense of having no hope for the future. My parents have been ill, work has been difficult, and an ex, with whom I am still on friendly terms, experienced a terrible family tragedy. I would not have missed much yet, but I would miss the better times to come. Story 5. My brother died last June. He missed Kingdom Hearts 3, the next entry in his favorite video game franchise that he had waited for since 2006. I bought it and played it on his behalf, but I am not very good at it. He was also a huge Toronto Raptors and basketball fan. My mother and I watched the finals and did not know what to feel when they won. Those are the moments that really get you. The things you knew your loved one would have been ecstatic about. My advice for anyone going through depression: you can always die later. You are going to die someday. The world will make sure of it, so you do not need to take on the anxiety and burden of ending your own life. You can only live right now, so why not stick around for a few decades and see what happens? Postponing death is a useful skill if it keeps you alive. Nobody can tell you procrastination is a negative quality if it is what keeps you here. It comforts me to know I do not have to be here forever or take my death into my own hands. I have suffered from depression and crippling anxiety for about 12 years. What keeps me going are the little things. I always pick something to look forward to: a new show or movie, a new game. I follow tennis. Vacations or visits from family members help. Family is everything, and the small things you enjoy make up who you are. No one can tell you your interests are small or worthless, because they make you happy, and that is enough. Keep looking for the next thing to look forward to, and hold on tight no matter how strong the winds of depression become. Do not let go. You can weather the storm as long as you maintain hope that tomorrow can be better than today. Story 6. I took my son to the state fair and we rode the tilt-a-whirl for his first time. It is my favorite ride. We giggled and screamed. We rode it again 4 times. We had our caricatures drawn together. He said it was the best day and I loved it. Story 7. My friend passed away today. My ex-girlfriend is trying to ruin my life. I lost my best friend because of her. My car was lost in an accident. I was fired from my job. I feel overwhelmed and I am having thoughts of hurting myself, but I cannot bring myself to hurt my parents. If you are thinking about harming yourself or are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency number now. If you are in the United States, call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, contact your local emergency services or a local crisis line. Please reach out to someone you trust or a mental health professional right now. You do not have to face this alone. If you want, tell me your country and I can help find local crisis numbers. Story 8. Summer and Fall. That's basically it. Edit 1. Wow 8000. Story 9. Long post. Too long. Didn't read at the bottom. I was suicidal for a long time and still have those thoughts daily, but I am finding ways to cope. This last year has been a roller coaster. In January, I dropped out of the first year of university from a forensic science program because I could not afford university even after the Ontario Student Assistance Program. I started working minimum wage general labor jobs to support myself and my family, which is in major debt. In May, I found a nonprofit organization that offered a basic 3-month information technology certification program. In September, I began a 3-month paid internship with the City of Toronto. Unfortunately, my internship ends tomorrow, as 3 months have passed. I feel very depressed because I enjoyed my work and the friendly staff, but my life still has a bit of hope left. If I had ended my life earlier, I would not have discovered my interest in information technology or had the chance to build my first gaming personal computer, which I later sold to recover costs. Too long. Didn't read. I dropped out of university, worked minimum wage jobs, completed an information technology certification, and found an interesting and rewarding experience. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. Thank you for all the kindness and support. I have tried to respond to everyone, and thank you again for the anonymous award. I am still new to the Reddit community, so thanks again to everyone. Story 10. Meeting many new friends, preventing my friend from attempting suicide, and believing her when unfair rumors are spread about her. Her mother is the reason she almost attempted suicide. Her mother subjects her to verbal abuse. The rumors are still ongoing, and I have heard a lot about them from friends who believe my friend. The rumors are being spread by a girl who used to be a good friend of ours. She and my friend had an argument. Never mind. She ended our friendship for a YouTuber she liked, someone she had never spoken to or had any contact with. Story 11. My wonderful friends are helping 7 beautiful dogs learn to live a new life. Story 12. Literally nothing. But killing myself would mean handing this bitch of an earth the win. If she wants me dead, she is gonna have to fucking do it herself. I am sorry you are feeling so distressed. Are you safe right now? If you are thinking about harming yourself or are in immediate danger, please call your local emergency services right away. In the United States, you can call or text 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are elsewhere, please contact your local emergency number or a local crisis line. I can help find resources or someone to talk to if you want. Story 13. My life is actually starting. I realize I am not what everyone tried to make me believe I was. I am confronting the reality that I live with severe complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And by live, I mean I take charge and refuse to let it ruin me. I stood up against 2 abusers. One is now on probation for 2 years, and I obtained everything I had said would make me more comfortable if he accepted the plea deal. The other is my mother, and I feel more empowered in our complicated relationship. She is my best friend and my main source of trauma, and she also exhibits many characteristics of antisocial personality disorder. I stopped taking my psychiatric medications. I have the best job I have ever had. I found direction in my education and career goals, and I will be starting school again in the fall. I am settling into my own home. It is the first time I have lived independently. I am making real friends for the first time in my life, with one significant exception. I have a cat that I love. I am addressing my physical health, and I am clearly at a place in my life and recovery that indicates I am beginning the rest of my life. On the 11th, I will turn 30 years old. Life has never been this beautiful. Story 14. I bought my own newly constructed home as a single woman when I believed I would only be able to afford it if I got married. Story 15. Hearing my daughter call me mommy and come give me hugs and kisses at random fills me with joy. Life does get better, and I am glad I am here for it. Story 16. Seeing my daughter eat for the first time was incredible. She was born premature and has a gastrostomy tube in her stomach. She did not take anything by mouth. She just turned 19 months. We worked with a speech-language pathologist for a year before she could take a bite. Baby steps. I am hoping that in another year she will be drinking on her own. Story 17. Meeting my wonderful girlfriend and falling in love with her. Story 18. A friend kept telling me to watch her favorite television show, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I finally did and really liked it. One recurring theme in the show is failing to see that you have friends and people who care about you, and feeling more alone than you really are. Story 19. I would not have missed anything. This year has been the worst of my life. Everyone I knew either died or moved away. I became depressed and isolated myself. If my life had ended last year, I would at least have died happy. Every night I dream that 2019 never happened and that everyone is still alive and happy. The problem is that I always wake up. Story 20. I have a best friend who truly cares about me and wants to hear my problems. A friend of mine recently had a child, and I sometimes go to their house to get baby snuggles. Story 21. If I am being perfectly honest, not much. I suppose Under the Covers Volume 3 and Death Stranding, but it has not been a spectacular year. Story 22. Almost 3 years ago, I took a large amount of Xanax and drank wine. I was exhausted by my mind. I had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. I could not live with myself anymore and did not think it would ever get better. Luckily, I survived, though I was not happy about it at the time. I started seeing my doctor more often. He finally found a medication combination that worked, and I made some major life-changing decisions. A little over a year after that attempt, I met my now husband. We have been married for almost 2 years. We have traveled to so many wonderful places, made amazing memories, and are soon moving across the country. It is terrifying to think I would have missed out on all of this if I had been successful. Story 23. Absolutely nothing. Oh wait, I would have missed out on a $20,000 bill for a 6-day stay in a psychiatric ward. Story 24. Half-Life. Alex. Not a joke. I am 17, and not much else interesting has happened recently. If I were not here today, I would have missed the next game in the series that sparked my love of personal computer gaming. It is not really as profound as the other stuff on here, but it is important to me. Story 25. I am meeting the woman I am dating. All my previous relationships were long distance, so she is the first woman I have actually gone out with. Even if the rest of my life were difficult, which it is not, I would still think it was worth it. Update. She just broke up with me. Story 26. Nothing, really. Watching Studio Ghibli films in a huge theater? This question makes me sad. Story 27. I went to the zoo a couple of weeks ago, and it was really cool. I am really enjoying the new Pokemon game. Some less minor things. I just turned 16. I am seeing a therapist. I am on testosterone, and I no longer want to rip my skin off. I am in the process of being diagnosed with autism, and my dad is very understanding about it. My mom is not, but I do not care. I am taking vitamin D supplements, and I am not as constantly tired as I used to be. I realized my cat is bonded to me, and I am pretty sure we both mean the world to each other. I am getting good grades in school, and it feels pretty epic. It has been 2.5 months since I have cut myself. That is not a long time, but it feels like it, and I still get urges. I threw away the razor in my room, and I have not regretted it. The past year has been wild, but I am glad to be alive. I love my cat and my dog so much. Story 28. Forget it now. I think about it, and I am not even joking. Story 29. Small compared to some of the other replies here, but I thought I would share my answer. I was in a bad place around this time last year, and for the first time I put real thought into ending my life. After some therapy, I never went through with it, and I am glad. The main reason for the depression I felt last year was that I did not fit in. I had friends in school, but that was it. I rarely did anything outside of school. Many Friday nights and weekends I sat at home, watching television or playing video games with tears in my eyes. I was frustrated with my lack of social skills, and I was intensely jealous of others. On one particularly bad day, I told myself that things would improve, or I would kill myself. Those were the only 2 options in my mind. Fast forward 1 year. Yesterday was my birthday and a Friendsgiving celebration hosted by one of my best friends. Almost 40 of my closest friends and I got together for a fantastic time. I was happier than I had ever been. Now I am sitting in bed, dozing off, and I saw this post. I burst into tears thinking about everything I would have missed. Homecoming, my driver's license, my first car, a soccer district championship, college scholarships, prom, a vacation in Europe, Christmas, birthdays, weddings, and more. I will end this story with a cliché, but it is true. Life gets better. Perhaps not in the ways we expect, but it does. Life is like a roller coaster. Ups and downs, fast and slow. It even has loops and corkscrews. Just enjoy the ride. Story 30. I would have missed my entire friend group by less than a month. I nearly had a girlfriend who would have made my life much better. We broke up, but she is my best friend now. Overall, those experiences shaped the boy I am today. Story 31. Absolutely nothing of interest, but I would have missed the following. My ex leaving me. My beloved cat being hit by a car and dying. Many miserable dates. The death of my uncle. How it feels to run low on money. My 7 weeks in a clinic. A lot of back pain. My depression becoming very severe. How it feels to fall apart because of aging. I do not like this question. I feel mocked. Story 32. He is a great guy to be in a relationship with, and he makes me so happy. Story 33. Finally being myself as a girl at my family's Thanksgiving dinner. The normality of it all was practically overwhelming. Story 34. Dang, I feel like this is fate. Exactly 1 year ago I was in the hospital after a suicide attempt, and it has been on my mind lately. If I had succeeded, I would never have fixed my relationship with my parents or experienced true love again, or even enjoyed the simple joy of my cat purring next to me. It is still a struggle most days, but life is beautiful, and I am glad I am still here. Story 35. I got sober. I sent my son to a private school and watched him flourish and begin reading. My wife also got sober. I would not have believed any of those things a year ago. Story 36. My girlfriend and I had just had a picnic near the Eiffel Tower and were headed back to where we were staying. As we waited for the train, a family sat across from us on the other side of the tracks and started playing music. The song September came on. My girlfriend pulled me up from the bench and we started dancing. I am not very good, but she is a great leader. The family began to get into it and did a little dance in their seats. When the song ended, the family clapped for us. We laughed and took a bow. The train arrived shortly after, and as we boarded and sat down, I waved to the family and they waved back. It was a brief, pure moment. I will never know anything about those people. Only a shared memory of a delightful encounter between complete strangers late at night in the Paris underground. Story 37. My stalking situation is becoming worse. One of my boyfriends dumped me because of it. I would have missed the chance to involve the authorities. I would have missed a promotion at work, many new friends and coworkers, the opportunity to move to a new city and get a fresh start, and my 21st birthday. Story 38. I am pregnant and carrying this child inside me. It is my first time, and I am very grateful to experience it. It is such a blessing. Story 39. Recently, I was in the restroom while my husband took care of our baby girl. I could hear her crying for mama from behind the door. At that moment, I wondered what my husband would do if I had taken my life 3 months earlier. How would he soothe her cries? When she is calling for mama if I were gone. What do you say to a toddler looking for a mother who is already dead? How would that impact him as a widower and single father, especially as someone already battling post-traumatic stress disorder from a previous trauma? I realized in that moment that I serve many greater purposes than I had understood while in my depressive state. It nearly brought me to tears of joy to be here to hold my baby girl and soothe her cries when she is looking for me. My husband and I can still embrace one another and watch her grow each day, knowing that the darkest days can be heavy, but we can lean on and depend on each other. For these realizations, I am truly grateful. Have a happy Thanksgiving with loved ones who genuinely make you feel glad to be alive. And enjoy the turkey, too. Story 40. Finally playing on a proper gaming personal computer that I had been saving up for a year. Graduating high school. My amazing boyfriend. My kitten. I was not really suicidal last year, but as one meme says, I would not have stepped out of the way of a moving bus, and I would not have thrown myself in front of one. Story 41. 1 year ago. Huh? Honestly, nothing interesting has happened in my life. Story 42. Man, I've had a pretty rough year, but even so, I'm glad I still have a shot at a better year going forward, and that's kind of beautiful. Story 43. Not even a year ago, if I had killed myself when I was considering it, I would never have gotten to meet my niece. Story 44. My friend's daughter, who calls me daddy, took her first trip to Disneyland for her third birthday. Story 45. Having 3 children, as annoying and stressful as they can be, I am truly grateful to have them and to experience being a parent to 3 very different individuals. Even though I was so young, they taught me things about myself I had not realized I was capable of. Story 46. Graduating from high school and starting college. My relationship with my boyfriend. Leaving the cult that made me miserable. Coming out to myself as pansexual. Learning to paint again. Moving out. Learning and performing my hardest piano piece so far, Sibelius Romance in D-flat major opus 24, in case you all were wondering. Learning calligraphy and lettering. Watching Parks and Recreation for the first time. My first concert ever. Going to therapy and gaining confidence in myself for the first time. Being the most mentally healthy and happy I have ever been. This hits home because about a year ago I was very close to taking my life. I am so glad I got the help I needed and that I am still alive. Life can still be frustrating and difficult, but I am able to see the good things now. I would have missed out on so much. Story 47. Honestly, nothing. I'm trying to find beautiful moments in my life, but everything seems to bleed gray. Story 48. The reunion of My Chemical Romance. They pretty much got me through school. I was laughing my ass off. Story 49. Hearing my little girl call me mama for the first time. Playing board games and dressing up with my oldest. Getting a job promotion. Receiving many kisses from my husband. Story 50. I wish this question had been asked before my friend's suicide, so I could have shared it with her. I think it could have given her hope. Story 51. Honestly, everything is the same as it was a year ago. Story 52. Honestly, nothing. I lost the job I love. I dropped out of college. I have no idea what I want to do with my life, and it has been an uneventful year overall. I do not mean to sound like that guy, but really nothing happened besides a downhill slope. Story 53. I got sober, so I did not want to take my life anymore. Story 54. Nothing positive happened to me this year. Story 55. My eldest son was nominated for a prestigious scholarship, and my 2 youngest have proven themselves to be leaders in Scouts. Story 56. It is 1 a.m. on the East Coast. My wife is being induced at 9:30 a.m. Our daughter, our first child, will be born today. Story 57. I would have missed Avengers Endgame. I can't remember anything else, though. Story 58. I enjoy watching my son grow up. He started jujitsu. I returned to training, earned a blue belt, won a tournament, and made my wife very happy. Story 59. It was more a bittersweet moment than a beautiful one. My wife became pregnant, but we lost our first child. She had cancer while we were dating, which may have affected her fertility. Although we could not carry the pregnancy to term, it is comforting to know she can still conceive. Story 60. A few days ago, I took the time at sunset to watch the stars appear. One by one, they showed up until the sky filled with them. The sky came alive in a way I had never realized it could before. It was one of the coolest, most exciting, and most eye-opening moments of my life. Story 61. After 3 bad relationships, I finally found a man who treats me well, and for the first time in years, I feel genuinely happy to be with someone. Story 62. Sadly, nothing. The most notable thing this year was a particularly good meatloaf that my significant other made for my birthday. Story 63. Hearing you're the best mom ever for the first time. May sound small, but there have been points when I wondered if my kid would be better off without me. So far, it looks like I'm doing pretty well in his book. Story 64. My daughter's first smile. Her cracking up at our dogs. Her saying mama. Watching our rescued dogs blossom into happy, healthy members of the family. My husband and our wedding. My sister's senior prom and graduation. My sister in the color guard at marching band competitions. My current pregnancy and seeing my second baby's ultrasound for the first time. Watching him suck his thumb on the monitor. And watching him run away from the ultrasound wand just like his big sister. Some days it is hard and I struggle to find a reason not to end my life. I rationalize that my daughter is not old enough to remember me, that she does not need me because I am not breastfeeding, that my husband would get over it quickly, and that my sister could sell my things for the money she needs. Then I remember this list and all the beautiful things I sometimes take for granted. I think about everything I would miss and decide I can keep going. I can put my head down and weather the storm. Ending my pain is not worth losing all the future precious moments and the suffering it would cause. Story 65. Honestly, absolutely nothing. My life is and will be a waste until my end. I am really sorry you are feeling this way. Are you thinking about hurting yourself or ending your life? If you are in immediate danger, call your local emergency number right now. If you are in the United States, you can call or text 988 for the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you are outside the United States, please contact your local emergency services or a local crisis hotline. Consider reaching out to a trusted person, a mental health professional, or a local crisis line. If you want, I can help you find resources or support in your area. Story 66. I would never have proposed to the love of my life. I would not have my first child on the way. I would not have seen my father become sober. I would never have reached remission from my own mental disorder. Looking back now, this has been the best year of my life, and to think I almost threw it away 3 years ago. Damn. Story 67. In 2 weeks it will be 3 years since one of my best friends lost his battle with depression. He never got to meet my daughter. There are 100 small family moments I would have liked to share with him, but I cannot. It is the small, insignificant things that seem to pile up. He never got to play the new Defense of the Ancients patch. He did not get to see the season finale of Dragon Ball Z abridged, the new seasons of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or many other shows we both loved. New games come out all the time, and I think about how much he would have looked forward to them. I do not think the Nintendo Switch had even been fully announced yet, but I bet he would have bought it on day one. Sometimes I still find myself glancing at dates when I click on random YouTube videos, mentally sorting them into before or after. There is so much he never got to experience. Fuck depression. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.